Hey YouTube, this is David Jesse, the Bowtie Jedi guy again, bringing you another discussion that's going on Twitter. We asked a question yesterday that I think you guys might want to chime in on. Our tweet basically was asking about Darth Vader and a standalone movie. I know this is a topic that's been discussed before, but we had some pretty good conversations with different viewpoints on it. The question was, would you like Lucasfilm and Disney to make a Darth Vader standalone Star Wars film? So let's see what some of you guys said about that. First, we have Stink. I can't find which one you were. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the links below. The answer was basically we've got 6 of them, and that's a common theme that was out there. We had the prequel trilogy, we had the original trilogy, and then he went on to say plus Rebels, plus Lords of the Sith, plus Rogue One scene, plus 2 full comic book series. I love Vader, and I think he didn't even put on Clone Wars, which is kind of about Darth Vader too. I love Vader, and I can never get enough of him, but getting another Vader story means sacrificing a new story with characters. Then no. And so the idea was for this Twitter follower that putting out another Vader story is just going to be redundant, and it would sacrifice other stories that could be told. Really good idea, except for the fact that I think that there's a basic underlying premise through a lot of those comments, at least this is my opinion, that creates a challenge to that, and that is that the original trilogy was about Darth Vader. I don't think that's the case. My position is that when the original trilogy was made, it was not about Darth Vader, it was about Luke Skywalker. And Darth Vader was a character, he was the villain in that, but it was not about him. And George Lucas retconned that in order to help promote the prequel with that. And so I would disagree with the basic premise that the original trilogy was all about Darth Vader. Having said that, though, Darth Vader is full on in the original trilogy. We know that, and that's where we fell in love with him. So I understand the general point with that. Let's see what somebody else said. Ice Claw, well, the goo old Sith. It's y'all and your Twitter handles. Sasparimatu. Again, crazy. Unpopular opinion in cap locks coming. Absolutely not. Which I think is interesting because most of the comments on here were that, no, we don't want that. So I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. I actually think it's the most popular opinion. Darth Vader is one of the most prominent characters in the Star Wars universe. He is in almost everything. I agree with that. I would gladly watch something else than him. And then my response to that was, and you'd gladly scream like a schoolgirl, like a little child, if you saw a whole movie of him functioning like he did at the end of Rogue One. His response to that was, I can't say for sure until I'm actually there. I like Lord Vader's powerful moment in Rogue One, but if there were more of it, it might have weakened its potential. That's a well thought out response on that. That's why I'm skeptical about a Vader standalone film. Overusing a cool character has a possibility of ruining it. Totally agree with that idea. Let's see what the next one is. Kawa Trooper 9 at, thank you for having a Twitter handle that I can pronounce, at Tabletop Toma, Thoma. Your response was, I'd rather have an Inquisitors movie with Vader having a significant cameo. I think it's an interesting response because the Inquisitors were not really, especially, the Sixth Sister, all of that, the seventh or the fifth sister or whatever, the seventh brother, all of those. I can't remember how many numbers they were. They weren't that popular. I mean, when you had helicoptering, these were in Rebels, if you're not familiar, helicoptering, lightsaber spinning, and crazy things like that. And the idea of the Inquisitors was good, but I think the execution was a little weak, which is why they killed them off in the second season of Rebels and moved on. But the idea of having an Inquisitors movie with Darth Vader guiding them and being present in it, that's an interesting idea. And then Matt Salvatore, who I absolutely think is amazing. By the way, if you're on YouTube, you need to check out Matthew Salvatore. And I'm going to put a link in the notes down below where you can find his page. You need to check out his stop motion stuff with Legos and Star Wars. It's absolutely amazing. Matthew Salvatore said, without a single doubt. And so I think that there is a group out there that would really love to have that. So what do you think? What do you want? Do you want there to be a Darth Vader standalone movie in the vein of a Rogue One or a Solo movie? A very simple one story or one movie story about Darth Vader. Let us know in the comments below. Thanks, guys, for checking these out. Whenever you watch these, check out our Patreon page, TatooineSons.com/Patreon. Follow us on Twitter at TatooineSons, on Instagram at TatooineSons. Listen to our podcast. We've got two main podcasts. We have our general weekly podcast, Tatooine Sons Star Wars podcast, where I geek out about Star Wars with my two sons, Samuel the Hutt, who is 16, and BB Nate, who is 12. And then we have a midweek podcast, comes out on Tuesday, 10 Questions on Tatooine Tuesday, where we talk with a Star Wars fan, and they answer 10 questions about Star Wars and life, which has been a lot of fun. We had our first episode yesterday. Check that out. I'll have that in the notes below as well. And then we have our daily Star Wars news podcast, which, by the way, Steven Stanton, who played Obi-Wan and AP5 in Star Wars Rebels, commented on Twitter last night that he listens to it. So Tatooine Sons HoloNet, you can find that out anywhere. That's about a 3-minute Star Wars news update. No spoilers, no commentary, just Star Wars news. So thanks, guys.